Script remember right exact word count. The entire story must be written from the protagonist's perspective in first person. I, me, my format. Do not use third-person narration at any point. The reader should experience the protagonist's thoughts, emotions, and reactions directly. Dialogue must be the primary focus of the story, making up the majority of the content. Minimal but effective narration should be used to keep the story immersive without excessive descriptions. The story should have no unnecessary repetition. Every line should move the plot forward. How the prompt works. I will paste a chapter outline from prompt hashtag 1. You will generate the full chapter in first-person POV. Word count must match the chapter outline exactly. The chapter should prioritize dialogue, 60 to 70%, with some narration, 20 to 30%, and minimal description, 10 to 15%. Avoid infodumping, character actions, emotions, and backstory should be revealed naturally through dialogue. 1. Output format, first-person, dialogue-focused, exact word count per chapter. Input, Chapter 1. The day my life broke apart. Word count, 1,000 words. Summary, 100 to 150 words. I start the story by talking about my simple dreams. Working abroad in London, building a future with my fiancée, Emily Carter, and believing that love was enough. On the morning of our departure, I discover my passport was mysteriously canceled. When I call immigration, they say the cancellation was sent in by my spouse-to-be. Confused and panicking, I rush home only to find the apartment half empty. Emily left a short note saying she needed time to think. Later, my friend Daniel Brooks sends me a photo. Emily at the airport, hugging her ex-boyfriend Ryan Hale, boarding the flight that was supposed to be mine. My world collapses, and the betrayal crushes me. This chapter focuses on my shock, confusion, and heartbreak. Characters introduced. Me, Lucas Reed. Narrator, 28, hardworking, idealistic. Emily Carter, fiancée, secretly reconnecting with her ex. Daniel Brooks, loyal friend. Ryan Hale, Emily's ex, arrogant, selfish. I sat on the couch staring at my phone when I finally called Emily again. Emily, pick up, I said. She answered with a shaky voice. Lucas, please don't start. Start what? I asked. Tell me why you left with him. I didn't leave with anyone, she said. You're overreacting. I'm looking at the picture right now, I said. You're holding Ryan. She sighed. It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is, I said. Because nothing makes sense. I felt unsure, she whispered. And you were leaving. You canceled my passport weeks ago, I said. Why lie about that? I panicked, she replied. I didn't want you going without me. So you trapped me? I asked. You sabotaged everything I worked for. Ryan said he could help me figure out my life, she said. I was lost. You weren't lost, I said. You were choosing him. She stayed quiet, and the silence cut deeper than any answer. So I was never the priority, I said. That's not fair, she said. I loved you. I just needed something different. Different? I asked. Or easier? She sniffed. Please stop. I ended the call and stared at the wall until my phone buzzed again. It was Daniel. Did she talk? He asked. Yeah, I said. She admitted everything. Man, that's rough, he said. What now? I don't know, I said. It feels like my life just folded. Then unfold it, he said. Start fresh. Fight back by standing up again. Fight how? I asked. Not with fists, he said. With rebuilding. With getting up when she expects you to stay down. I sighed. That sounds good on paper. It's your only move, he said. Let's meet later. Before I could answer, another call came in. It was Linda Hayes, my old manager. Lucas, I heard your trip fell through, she said. Are you okay? Not really, I said. Everything just collapsed. Come see me, she said. I might have something for you. I drove to her office, trying to steady my breathing. When I walked in, she looked at me with kind eyes. Sit, she said. Tell me what happened. I explained everything, piece by piece, while she listened quietly. She canceled your passport? She asked. Weeks ago, I said. And she never told me. That's cruel, she said. But listen, an opportunity opened up this morning. For what? I asked. A position abroad, she said. The same program Emily always talked about. They need someone fast. Why me? I asked. Because you're good, she said. Better than you think. And you deserve a win. I leaned back. You think I should take it? I think you should choose yourself, she said. I rubbed my face. Feels like running away. It's not, she said. It's stepping forward. I exhaled. Emily would lose her mind if she knew. Is that a reason to stay? She asked. No, I said. It's not. When I left her office, Daniel called again. So, what did she say? She offered me a shot at something big, I said. Then take it, he said. Don't let Emily be the last chapter. I'm scared, I admitted. Good, he said. Means it matters. As I walked to my car, Emily texted me. Can we talk? I stared at it until my screen dimmed. Then I called her. What now? I asked. I hate how we left things, she said. You left things, I said. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said. You planned it, I replied. So don't pretend it was an accident. She hesitated. Ryan said he could help me grow. Grow? I asked. By destroying my path. I didn't know what I wanted, she said. You wanted someone who made you feel safe without effort, I said. That's not fair, she said again. Fair doesn't matter anymore, I replied. She went quiet. Are you going to stay here? She asked. No, I said. I'm done letting you dictate my future. Where will you go? She whispered. Forward, I said. That's all you need to know. She sniffed. Lucas, I didn't expect to lose you. You didn't lose me, I said. You gave me away. I hung up before she could answer. The wind outside felt colder, but my chest felt lighter, like I had finally taken a step. Daniel texted, proud of you. I typed back, trying. As I drove home, Linda's words echoed in my head. Choose yourself. For once, I wanted to. When I got home, I looked at the empty shelves again. Instead of feeling broken, I felt something new, room to rebuild. I called Linda again. If the offer is still open, I said, I'm interested. Good, she replied. You'll hear from them tomorrow. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. Thank you for believing. Believe in yourself, Lucas, she said. You're stronger than this mess. After we hung up, I whispered, I hope so. My phone buzzed again, but I didn't check it. Whether it was Emily or Daniel, I needed a moment alone. I walked to the window and looked out at the streetlights. Tomorrow, I said. I'll start tomorrow. For the first time since everything fell apart, I felt the smallest spark of hope. I sat down on the couch again, breathing slowly. Maybe this is a sign, I whispered. Maybe losing her is how I find myself. The thought scared me, but it also pushed me forward in a way nothing else had. Tomorrow. When Linda called me the next morning, her voice carried a kind of energy I hadn't felt in days. Lucas, I spoke with someone in my network, she said. If you want a fast-track passport, it can be done. I sat up. How fast are we talking? Days, not months, she said. But only if you want this job. I rubbed my eyes. I do. I really do. Then stop letting what she did hold you in place, she said. I sighed. I'm trying. Try harder, she replied. You deserve more than what she gave you. After we hung up, I decided to get out of the apartment before the walls swallowed me. I went to a small cafe down the street. The warm smell of coffee didn't calm me, but at least it didn't hurt. I ordered a drink and sat alone near the back. I was staring at my phone when I heard a familiar laugh behind me, soft, nervous, annoyingly sweet. Emily. My body froze and my pulse spiked. Then I heard another voice I knew too well. Ryan. I still think you made the right choice, he said. Emily whispered. I don't know, Ryan. It feels messy. It's only messy because he found out, Ryan said. If he hadn't, you'd be fine. I clenched my jaw. My hands curled into fists under the table. Emily sighed. I thought you'd help me get that London opportunity. And I will, he said. Just give me time. You promised, she said, her voice small. I said I'd try, he corrected. Not fund your whole dream. My heart dropped, but not from sadness, from anger. She threw away our life, for a maybe. Emily whispered. I only picked you because you said you knew people there. Ryan laughed quietly. And you believe that? Her breath hitched. Ryan. Relax, he said. It'll work out. I'm just saying you shouldn't blame me if things take longer than you want. So I gave up everything for nothing, she asked. That's dramatic, he said. I sat there, stunned. So it was all about her dream. Her future. Not our future. She made me the sacrifice, and he made her the fool. My phone buzzed. It was Linda again. I answered quietly. Yeah. Lucas, I just sent you the application link, she said. Fill it out. Don't wait. I whispered. I'm doing it. Right now. Good, she said. It's your turn to choose yourself. I ended the call and opened the link. As I typed my information, I kept hearing their voices behind me. Emily said, "What if Lucas goes anyway?" "He won't," Ryan said. "You made sure of that." I felt a cold spark ignite in my chest. Emily thought she took something from me forever. She thought she controlled the ending. She didn't know I was 2 feet away, signing my name onto something bigger than both of them. When I finished, I stood up and walked toward the door. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Their voices faded behind me like background noise I'd finally learned to ignore. Outside, the air felt sharper, clearer. I whispered to myself, if she wanted to ruin my path, I'll build a better one. When I got home, another email waited for me. From Oliver Grant. Subject, interview request. My heart kicked. I opened it fast. "Mr. Reed, your application was impressive. I'd like to speak with you today if possible. The role is based in London. Please confirm availability." I reread the line twice. London, the exact city Emily dreamed of. The place she thought she'd reach while I stayed behind. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Hello." A crisp voice said, "Is this Lucas Reed?" "Yes," I said. "This is Oliver Grant," he said. "Do you have a moment?" "Of course," I said quickly. "I reviewed your background," he said. "Your former manager spoke highly of you. I want to know why you're interested in this role." I hesitated. My chest tightened, but I spoke honestly. "Because I lost something important, and I'm done letting my life be decided by anyone but me." Oliver hummed. "Strong answer. Tell me what you're looking for." "A fresh start," I said, "and a chance to prove to myself that I'm not defined by what someone did to me." He paused. "Good. Very good. How soon can you relocate?" "Immediately," I said. "I like the commitment," he replied. "This position demands resilience." "I have plenty," I said. "Then let's meet," he said. "Video call in 2 hours?" "Yes," I said. "I'll be ready." When the call ended, I felt a rush of adrenaline. Not fear. Not doubt. Something darker, sharper, resolve. My phone vibrated again. "Emily." I ignored it. Another text came through. "Please talk to me." Then another. "I'm scared you'll hate me." I whispered. "You don't get to be scared now." I typed nothing back. 2 hours later, Oliver appeared on my screen. "Lucas," he said with a nod. "Shall we begin?" We talked for 20 minutes. He asked tough questions. I answered with a kind of clarity I didn't know I had. When the call ended, he said, "You'll hear from me soon." I closed my laptop and stared out the window. London. Her dream. A dream she thought she was taking with her. My phone buzzed again. Daniel this time. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm better," I said. "What happened?" "I took something she thought she stole," I said. "My future." He let out a low whistle. "Proud of you, man." I looked around my quiet apartment and whispered, "Yeah, me too." And for the first time since she walked out of my life, I felt a spark of satisfaction. A dark, steady flame rising inside me. I wasn't just walking away from what Emily did. I was walking toward something better. Something meant for me. When Oliver called the next morning, his tone already told me everything. "Lucas," he said, "I'd like to offer you the position." I stared at the wall. "You're serious?" "Very," he replied. "Your mindset fits what we need. If you accept, we'll handle your onboarding as soon as you arrive." I exhaled slowly. "Then I accept." "Good," he said. "Welcome to the team." After we hung up, I whispered to myself, I did it. But the moment felt strangely quiet, like my mind didn't know whether to celebrate or cry. Linda called shortly after. "So, did he hire you?" "Yes," I said. "I'm going to London." She laughed softly. "I knew you would. I'm proud of you." "Thank you," I said, "for pushing me." "You pushed yourself," she replied. "Remember that." I didn't tell Emily anything. I didn't know her my plans anymore. Instead, I packed my bags, picked up my new passport, and booked the earliest flight. Daniel insisted on driving me to the airport. In the car he asked, "How are you holding up?" "I'm numb," I admitted. "But I'm moving. That has to count for something." "It does," he said. "More than you think." At the terminal, he hugged me hard. "Don't look back, okay?" "I won't," I said. "Not anymore." When I boarded the plane, I felt a wave of nerves hit me. As we took off, I whispered, "This should have been our flight," then shook my head. "No, this is mine." During the flight, a flight attendant asked, "Everything all right, sir?" I nodded. "Yeah, just thinking." "What about?" she asked kindly. Things I should have said, I answered. And things I'm glad I didn't. She smiled gently and walked away, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I stared out the window at the clouds. I imagined telling Emily, I'm stronger without you, but the words felt pointless now. She made her choice. I was making mine. When the plane landed, the cold London air hit me like a wake-up call. I grabbed my luggage and followed the signs until I spotted Oliver waving. There you are, he said. Jet-lagged. A little, I said. But ready. Good, he replied. Let's show you around. Inside the office, bright lights and quiet chatter filled the space. Oliver guided me through rows of desks before stopping beside a woman with light brown hair and sharp eyes. This is Sarah Dean, he said. One of our best analysts. Sarah, this is Lucas. Sarah smiled and said, Hi. New guy, huh? Yeah, I said, trying not to look clueless. You're doing all right so far, she said. Oliver only picks the intense ones. Oliver rolled his eyes. Ignore her. She thinks she's funny. Sarah leaned toward me. I am funny. He just has no sense of humor. I laughed for the first time in days. Nice to meet you, Sarah. She studied my face for a second. Rough week. I tensed. Is it that obvious? She shrugged. Only to someone who had won last month. If you ever want to talk, I'm around. Thanks, I said quietly. Oliver clapped his hands. All right, Dean, stop scaring him. Let's get him set up. She grinned. Fine. But I called dibs on giving him the unofficial tour later. I followed Oliver into a small meeting room where he handed me a folder. This is everything you'll need, he said. As I flipped through it, he asked, What brings you here, Lucas? Really? I hesitated before saying, I needed a fresh start, and maybe I needed to prove something to myself. He nodded slowly. Good answer. London has a way of reshaping people. I hope so, I said. After the orientation, Sarah walked up beside me. So, new guy, she said. Want the real tour? Is it better than the official one? Much, she said. The official one is boring. Mine comes with gossip and hidden snack stashes. I chuckled. Lead the way. As we walked through the halls, she pointed at a doorway. This is the break room. The coffee tastes like sadness, but it's free. I'll keep that in mind, I said. She pointed at a corner desk. That's where I sit. If you ever look lost, just wave. Thanks, I said. Really? She gave me a soft smile. You look like someone who could use an anchor. I swallowed hard. Feels like everything is shifting. That's not always bad, she said. Sometimes it's the only way forward. Her words hit deeper than she probably meant them to. I'll try to believe that. When my first day wrapped up, my phone buzzed with a message from Daniel. Emily and Ryan are posting couple photos again. You okay? I typed back, yeah. They can pretend all they want. Daniel replied, You sound cold. I am, I wrote. But maybe that's what I need. As I left the building, Sarah caught up to me. Heading out. Yeah, I said. Long day. Good long or bad long? She asked. New long, I said. She nodded. Sometimes that's the best kind. I smiled faintly. See you tomorrow. See you, she said, waving as I walked away. Outside, London lights flickered in the night sky. I lifted my head and whispered, my first step away from her. And for the first time, it didn't hurt. It felt right. London started to feel like a place where I could breathe again, even when the air was cold and sharp. One morning, as I walked into the office, Oliver looked at me with a grin and said, You've been on fire lately, Lucas. I laughed a little and replied, I'm just trying to keep up. He shook his head and said, No, you're leading. Keep going. His words hit deeper than he knew. Later, Sarah walked up beside me and said, You look lighter today. I shrugged and answered, Maybe I'm finally adjusting. She smiled. Good. You deserve some peace. I didn't know how to respond, so I just nodded. Somehow her presence made the office noise fade. An hour later, my phone buzzed. It was Daniel. I answered with a simple, What now? He sighed and said, You're not going to believe this. Ryan got fired. I blinked. Fired? For what? Daniel said, For being an idiot, I guess. Something about showing up late too many times and blowing deadlines. I leaned back in my chair and whispered, Karma's fast. Daniel replied, That's not all. Emily's parents cut her off. They're angry about how she treated you. I rubbed my forehead and said, She made her choices. Daniel said, Yeah, and they're hitting her back hard. When I hung up, Sarah looked over and asked, Everything all right? I forced a smile. Just updates from home. She raised a brow. Good updates or bad ones? I shrugged. Depends on how you look at karma. She smirked. Sounds juicy. Tell me later if you want. I nodded, though I didn't plan to. After work, I sat on my bed reading through some notes when my phone rang again. Blocked number. I stared at it and whispered, no way. The ringing stopped, then started again. Against my better judgment, I answered. Hello, I said. A broken voice came through. Lucas, please don't hang up. My chest tightened. Emily, she sobbed. I didn't know who else to call. I said, you shouldn't be calling me at all. She cried harder. He cheated on me, Lucas. He took my money and left me stuck. I have nothing. I sat in silence. Her breathing grew shaky. Please say something, she begged. I asked, why me? After everything. She choked. Because you were the only one who ever cared. I let the silence stretch until she whimpered. Lucas, are you still there? I finally said, yeah, I'm here. She sniffed loudly. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I said, you should have thought about that before you burned every bridge. She whispered, I know. I ruined everything. I stared at the ceiling and said, you ruined us. Not me. She cried again. Can you at least tell me where you are? I need to hear something real. I said, London. She gasped. London? You're in London? Yeah, I said. Working the job you always wanted. She broke into loud sobs. I'm so stupid, she cried. I should have chosen you. I should have stayed. I kept my voice level as I said, you chose what you thought was better. She begged, can you help me? Please, just tell me what to do. I answered, figure it out. The same way I had to. She whispered, I never thought you'd sound this cold. I said, I never thought you'd betray me. She cried again, harder this time. I'm lost, Lucas. I closed my eyes. You weren't lost when you walked away. She stammered, I made a mistake. I said, we all do. She whispered, do you hate me? I took a breath. I don't hate you, but I don't feel what you want me to feel. She let out a shaky breath. Then what do you feel? She asked. I said, free. She whimpered, please don't leave me like this. I answered, you left me first. There was a long silence before she said, I deserve this, don't I? I replied, it's not about what you deserve. It's about what you created. She sobbed, I wish I could undo it. I said, so do I. But not for the same reasons. She begged, just don't hang up yet. I sat quietly until she whispered, Lucas? Yeah, I answered. I'm sorry, she said. I closed my eyes. I know, I replied. And for once, the pain inside me felt like it finally had somewhere else to go. I didn't say anything for a while. She breathed softly, waiting for some kind of comfort, but I couldn't give her any. When she whispered, are you still there? I said, yeah, but I won't stay long. She sniffed and said, I don't deserve even this much from you. I answered, maybe not. But I don't need to hurt you to move on. She said, it feels like you're already gone. I replied, I am. She cried again, quieter this time. If you ever need closure, I added, find it without me. She begged, can't you just talk to me tomorrow? I said, no. You need to fix your own life now. She whispered, I wish you could see how sorry I am. I replied, I do see it, but it doesn't change anything. She gave a trembling breath. Will you ever forgive me? I said, maybe. But forgiveness doesn't mean coming back. She said, I know. I whispered, goodbye, Emily. She tried to speak, but I hung up first. I stared at the wall, feeling something heavy slip off my shoulders. My phone buzzed again, Daniel this time. He wrote, you okay? I typed, yeah. Something finally clicked. He replied, proud of you, man. I set the phone down and whispered, karma finally knocked. And for once, I didn't feel broken. I felt steady. I breathed out slowly, letting the silence settle around me like a new beginning. For the first time, I felt my future calling instead of my past, and I realized I was finally ready to follow it. I was leaving the building late when Sarah walked beside me and said, you look tired. Long day. I nodded. Yeah, just a lot on my mind. She smiled softly. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I thanked her, but before I could say anything else, I heard someone shout my name. Lucas. The voice made my stomach drop. I turned slowly. Emily stood across the street in the rain, hair soaked, shivering, eyes swollen. I whispered, no, not here. Sarah looked at me, confused. Is that? I nodded. Yeah, that's her. Emily ran toward me, nearly slipping. "Lucas, please," she cried. "Don't walk away." I clenched my jaw and said, "What are you doing in London?" She wrapped her arms around herself. "I came to fix things. I had to see you." I shook my head. "You shouldn't be here." She stepped closer. "I'm begging you, please talk to me." I sighed. "All right, talk." She broke down crying. "I made the biggest mistake of my life. Ryan used me. He lied about everything." I stared at her. "You already told me that." She sniffed. "He took my money. He cheated. He never planned to help me. He laughed when I said I wanted to come here." I crossed my arms. "So now you're here because he didn't want you?" "No," she cried. "I'm here because I realized you were the only person who ever truly cared." Sarah shifted uncomfortably beside me. "Do you want me to go?" she whispered. I shook my head. "No. Stay." Emily glanced at her and asked, "Who is she?" Sarah replied calmly, "Someone who works with him." Emily frowned. "Are you too?" I cut her off. "No. She's just a friend." Emily looked back at me with trembling lips. "Lucas, I know I destroyed everything. I know I hurt you in ways I can't undo. But please give me one chance to make things right." I let out a bitter laugh. "One chance? Emily, you had 1,000. You just didn't care." She wiped her tears. "I cared. I was scared. I made stupid choices." I stepped back. "You weren't scared when you canceled my passport. You weren't scared when you boarded that plane with him. You weren't scared when you erased me overnight." She whispered, "I know. I deserve all your anger. And yet you're here," I said. "Why?" "Because losing you broke me," she whispered. "I didn't realize what you meant to me until I saw what it felt like to be thrown away." I looked at her, soaked and shaking. "That's exactly what you did to me." She cried harder. "I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." She reached out to hug me, but I stepped away. She froze. "You won't even let me hold you?" I said, "You lost that right the day you walked out." Sarah spoke softly. "Maybe you should give him some space." Emily glared weakly. "You don't understand." Sarah said, "I understand more than you think. Pain doesn't give you permission to rewrite the past." Emily turned back to me. "Lucas, please listen. I want us back. I'll do anything." I shook my head. "You don't even know who I am anymore." She whispered, "You're the man I love." The words hit me like a punch to the chest, but I managed to say, "No. You loved the version of me who needed you. I'm not that person anymore." She blinked. "So you don't love me?" I swallowed. "I don't trust you." She shook. "Trust can be rebuilt." I said, "Not when it's been shattered twice." She whispered, "Give me time then. Give me a chance to prove." "I gave you 4 years," I said. "You gave Ryan one message and you were gone." She covered her face. "I hate myself for that. I hate everything I did." I whispered, "So do I. But hating it won't undo it." She stepped closer again. "What can I do? Tell me. I'll change. I'll wait. I cut her off. "Stop. You can't fix this." She froze. "So it's over?" "It ended the moment you chose him," I said. "I just didn't realize it until now." Her voice cracked. "I came all this way to hear that." I replied, "You came all this way to face what you created." Sarah laid a hand gently on my arm. "You don't owe her more than this." Emily stared at Sarah's hand, then at me. "She cares about you," she whispered. Sarah withdrew her hand, but didn't deny it. Emily whispered, "I'm too late, aren't I?" I didn't answer at first. The rain fell harder, drowning the space between us. Finally, I said, "Yes, you're too late." She let out a quiet, broken gasp. "Please don't leave me like this." I said, "You left me long before today." She hugged herself tightly. "What do I do now?" I answered, "Find yourself. Without me." She sobbed. "This hurts more than anything." I said, "Now you understand." She whispered, "Can we at least talk again? One day?" I shook my head. "No, I'm choosing myself now." Her knees nearly buckled. "Lucas, please." I stepped back. "Goodbye, Emily." She tried to speak, but nothing came out. Sarah stood beside me quietly as Emily turned away, walking into the rain like a fading echo of a life I no longer wanted. Sarah looked at me gently. "You okay?" I breathed out slowly. "I don't know." She said, "You did the right thing." I whispered, "Then why does it still hurt?" She replied softly, "Because you're human. But hurt doesn't mean wrong." I stared at the empty street and said, "For the first time, I chose me." Sarah nodded. "And that's the start of everything." I knew the moment my phone rang that it was her. Even before I answered, I felt that strange pull in my chest, the one I hated but still recognized. When I picked up, her voice came out small. "Lucas, can we talk? One last time. Please." I closed my eyes. "Where?" "There's a cafe near your office," she said. "I'm already here." I almost said no, but some part of me wanted this over. "Fine," I said. "I'm coming." When I walked into the cafe, she was sitting in the corner, hands wrapped around a cup she wasn't drinking. Her eyes lifted when I approached, and she whispered, "Thank you for coming." I sat down. "Say what you need to say." She took a shaky breath. "I want to tell the truth. All of it." "I already know the truth," I said. "You left. You lied. You chose him." "I know," she whispered. "But you deserve to hear why." I stared at her. "Then talk." She wiped her eyes. "I canceled your passport because I was afraid you'd leave me behind. I thought if you stayed, we'd have time to fix things." "You didn't want to fix things," I said. "You wanted control." "I didn't know what I wanted," she whispered. "Then Ryan came back and said he could help me get my dream job. He made me feel like I wasn't failing." "And I made you feel what?" I asked. She swallowed. "Like I had to be better. Like I had to grow. And I was scared I couldn't." I leaned back. "So you chose the shortcut." She nodded slowly. "Yes. And it was the worst choice of my life." I didn't speak. She continued. "Ryan lied about everything. He said he had connections in London. He didn't. He said he cared about me. He didn't. And when he cheated on me, I realized I had traded the only real thing I had for something that was never real." I said nothing. She reached out like she wanted to touch my hand, but stopped. "Lucas, I regret hurting you every single day. I regret breaking us. I regret choosing him. If I could go back." "You can't," I said. She nodded weakly. "I know. But I need you to understand that I didn't stop loving you. I just stopped loving myself long enough to ruin everything." I took a slow breath. "Emily, I'm not here to comfort you." "I'm not asking for comfort," she whispered. "I'm asking for a chance. Just one. To prove I'm not the same person." I felt something twist in my chest. "A chance for what?" "To start over," she said. "To fix us." I laughed softly. "Fix us? Emily, you broke something you can't glue back together." She shook her head quickly. "No, please. Don't say that. I can try. I can work for it. I'll do anything." "You're not listening," I said. "I'm not the man you left behind." "Then tell me who you are now," she pleaded. "I'm someone who learned to stand without you," I said. "Someone who knows his worth now." She covered her mouth as tears fell. "So, you don't want me anymore." "It's not about wanting," I said softly. "It's about knowing what destroys me." She looked down at the table. "I destroyed you." "You did," I said. "And you walked away while I was drowning." She sobbed harder. "I'm so sorry." "I know," I said. "But sorry doesn't rebuild what you burned." She whispered, "If you could feel what I feel now." I interrupted. "I felt it first. Alone. You feel it now because he left you." She winced. "That's not fair." "It is," I said. "It's the truth." She wiped her cheeks. "Then tell me what to do. Tell me how to fix myself." "That's not my job anymore," I said. She whispered, "I still love you." I looked at her carefully. "I believe you. But love isn't enough. Not after what happened." She froze. "So this is it. This is closure," I said. "For both of us." She reached for my hand again. This time I pulled away. "Emily," I said quietly, "you're not mine anymore." She broke. Completely. Her shoulders shook as she cried into her hands. People looked over, but I didn't care. I stood up slowly. She looked up through tears. "Please don't leave." "I have to," I said. "You left me once. I'm just finally leaving back." When I stepped outside, the cold air hit me hard. I let out a long breath. I felt like I'd been holding for months. "Lucas." I turned and saw Sarah walking toward me. "Hey," she said gently. "I saw you inside. Are you okay?" "I think so," I said. "I ended it. Really ended it." She nodded. "I'm proud of you." I rubbed my face. It hurt. More than I expected. "Hurt doesn't mean wrong," she said. "Sometimes it just means you cared." I looked at her, really looked at her, and said, "Thank you for being here." She smiled softly. "Always." We walked a little ways in silence. Then she asked, "So, how do you feel now?" I looked up at the London skyline, the lights glowing like a new promise. "Free," I said quietly. "For the first time." She nodded. That's a good feeling. I exhaled. Losing her saved my life. Sarah nudged my arm lightly. Want to walk a bit? Clear your head. Yeah, I said. I think I need that. As we walked, she said, You know, when I first met you, I could tell you were carrying something heavy. I admitted. I didn't know how to put it down. And now, she asked. I think I finally set it down, I said. Or at least part of it. She smiled. Good. You deserve something better than heartbreak. I laughed softly. What does better even look like? Maybe it looks like someone who actually respects you, she said. Someone who doesn't run when things get hard. I glanced at her. You talk like you've been through it too. She shrugged. We all have our stories. Pain recognizes pain. I nodded. Thanks for not pushing me. Or judging me. I wouldn't do that, she said. I don't need to know everything to care. Her words warmed something in me I didn't know was still alive. We reached a bridge, and I leaned on the railing, watching the water move. She stood beside me. You're quiet, she said. I'm just thinking, I replied. About her, she asked. About me, I said. For once, it's about me. She nudged me again. That's growth. I laughed. Yeah, took me long enough. She looked at me carefully. Lucas, you're not alone, okay? I swallowed. I'm starting to believe that. The wind brushed against us. For the first time, it didn't feel cold. It felt like a beginning. Ready to head back? She asked. Yeah, I said. I think I'm ready for a lot of things now. As we walked away from the bridge, I whispered to myself, this is a new chapter. And for once, it didn't feel like a lie. When I finally reached my apartment that night, I stood by the window and watched the city lights flicker like quiet stars. I whispered, I made it. For the first time, the words didn't feel forced. My phone buzzed once, Daniel checking in, but I didn't open it. I just wanted the silence, the stillness, the feeling that I had finally stepped out of a storm. I pressed my hand against the glass and said, I'm done looking back. The reflection staring back at me wasn't broken anymore. It was someone rebuilding myself one breath at a time.